start off, I'd like to thank Arthur, Namrata, and VoxNovo for giving me this opportunity. So I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about a concept that I learned with my research. A company came to my advisor and said, we need to be able to predict assembly times for products. So I'm like, various approaches can be taken to do it, right? One approach that my advisor chose to take was to look deep into historical data and try and extract out patterns. So if you know a 5-inch screw has been assembled historically over 30 seconds, if you're designing another 5-inch screw, it's probably going to take 30 seconds to install, right? So that taught me about pattern recognition in the engineering realm. Pattern recognition has two domains, the engineering domain and the psychology domain. Pattern recognition in the engineering domain has been inspired from the psychology domain. And analogies have been drawn from the psychology domain and been applied in the engineering domain. But I learned about it from the engineering domain and learned to apply it on a day-to-day basis to make decisions. Hopefully I'll get you guys to start thinking about it more explicitly and applying this concept on a day-to-day basis yourselves. Hobie, there he is. This is from one of his talks. He said, the younger you are, the more stupid stuff you do. I'm sure all of us have done stupid stuff when we were young. One thing that I remember doing, and I was a really stupid kid, I used to tie a cape around my neck, a red cape, stand on a couch and jump off the couch hoping to fly like Superman. Didn't happen. First time I fell, face planted on the floor, hurt really bad. Didn't learn anything. Tried it for the second time. Second time I did it, fell, broke a tooth. Then see, you don't understand physics when you're 2 years old, 3 years old, right? So I understood two things. One, that I can't fly, and the second, that when my face hits the floor, it's going to hurt, and I'm probably going to lose a tooth. So that's a trend that I recognized at a very young age. And as you grow older, you learn to make decisions based on the experiences that you've had and the patterns that you've recognized along the way. Getting to more serious stuff, poker. How often have you seen a poker player look at his cards, realize that they're very good, and then go, I'm going to get all your money. He's not going to do that, right? He's going to wear a hoodie, he's going to wear glasses, he's going to hide his tells. Because he knows that his opponents, the people who he's playing against, are looking for patterns. They're looking for him to twitch, scratch his eyebrow, give away a tell, to know that he has good cards, and then they're going to fold. So that's one place where the concept has been used widely. How many of you all watch The Office? I'm sure a lot of you all do, right? So there's Jim, and this Pavlov's theory, conditioned learning. Jim sits across the desk from Dwight, the guy in the picture, plays a sound on his computer and hands Dwight an Altoid. He does it again and again and again, to a point where if Jim just plays the sound, Dwight's hand would go out and he would feel thirsty. What did Dwight's mind do? Dwight's mind picked up on a certain trend that was going around. He said, every time I hear that sound, I'm getting an Altoid. Okay? That's a pattern that Dwight's mind picked up on. And now, in all seriousness, some more serious stuff. When you're working in groups, when you're interacting with people, I'm sure all of us have a friend who knows it all, but actually doesn't. How often have you guys had a discussion, a debate with that person and actually got something good out of it? Not very often, right? I recognized that and I said, listen, I'm not going to try and have a rational discussion, a debate with a person who thinks he knows it all. The same thing happens with group dynamics too, right? You begin to make decisions as an individual for the group based on certain trends that go around in the group, certain patterns of behavior of the people in that group. Now, that being said, patterns do exist. A pattern that you see here, this is a great one. global temperature and US postal charges. People have found that as the US postal charges increased, global temperatures increased. Awesome pattern. But what's the cause for that? So are you telling me that if I increase US postal charges, the global temperatures are going to increase? That's not the case. The pattern certainly exists, but what you guys have got to do is start to think about the cause for the pattern. What's hidden away in this graph over there on top is the pattern that carbon dioxide has been taking. Carbon dioxide increased, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increased, causing global temperature to increase. So what you've got to look for is the cause for the patterns that you see. So people realize that smoking is bad and there's several risks. One thing that I didn't realize was you can get hip fracture. You're prone to hip fractures if you're a smoker. Now, I'm not sure if this is true, but I would assume that people recognize that most smokers have been getting cases of hip fracture. So someone said there is a correlation there. So let's try and understand the cause for it, right? So this slide and the previous one, what I'm trying to get at is that you guys have to realize that there are patterns, but try to understand why those patterns exist. Moving on, Taj Boyd. 2 interceptions this entire season. You see what I did there? I took the entire season as my data set. And I said he's thrown 2 interceptions this entire season, which says that he's a pretty good quarterback, right? But if I look at my data set of just the 2 plays versus Syracuse where he threw those interceptions, then I would think that he's not the best quarterback, right? So what I'm trying to get at here is that you guys have to look at big data sets when you're trying to draw patterns. Don't just look at a small data set and recognize that as a pattern. That will be a false pattern, and you don't want to recognize false patterns and base decisions off of that. So in conclusion, I would like to say, watch out for patterns, try and couple it with scientific reasoning, make sure you have big enough data sets for your patterns, and hopefully you make better decisions, better informed decisions, and prepare yourself for what might lie ahead. So one thing that's really helped me is what Tony Parker said, but several others have also said, you're always going to see ups and downs in your career, right? So if I go into lab today, do some research, and I get the results that I expected to see, and my advisor is all praising me and everything, and I'm happy, I know the next day is not going to be the same. And I prepare myself for that. And if you guys start thinking about patterns like this, hopefully you can make better informed decisions and also prepare yourself for what might lie ahead. Thank you.